She was 50 years old and invisible. The waitress looked past her to take the younger woman's order first. The contractor quoted her double what he'd charge a man. Her own daughter called once a week out of obligation, not desire. 3 years since David died, and Simone had accepted the truth. Women her age didn't get second acts. They got quiet. They got forgotten. Then Harrison Carter's black Mercedes pulled into her driveway at 7 on a Sunday morning. David's best friend. The billionaire who delivered the eulogy, written the check for the funeral, then disappeared into his world of boardrooms and private jets. Harrison stepped out in jeans and a t-shirt, tool belt slung low on his hips, gray threading through dark hair. "Your porch is rotting," he said, like it was his problem to solve. Like she was worth fixing things for. "Welcome to our channel, where we bring you emotional stories that stay with you. If you're new here, hit subscribe and the notification bell so you never miss a story. And if you're returning, thank you. Your support means everything. Now, stay until the end, drop a comment with your thoughts, and let's begin." Simone stood in her doorway wearing the oversized church t-shirt she'd slept in, bonnet still on her head, coffee mug halfway to her lips. Harrison Carter was supposed to be in New York, or Dubai, or wherever billionaires went when they weren't attending funerals. Harrison. Her voice came out scratchy. She cleared her throat. "What are you doing here?" "Your porch." He gestured to the sagging boards. David would lose his mind if he saw this. The mention of her husband's name landed like a fist to the sternum. 3 years, 2 months, 16 days. She still counted. "I was going to call someone. Eventually. When the checking account could handle it. When calling a contractor didn't feel like admitting she couldn't take care of herself. Now you don't have to." Harrison pulled a drill from his truck bed. "Go get ready for church. I'll be done by the time you leave. You can't just." "Simone." He turned, and the morning sun caught his eyes. Pale gray, the kind that always looked like they could see straight through polite lies. "Let me do this." It wasn't a question. She retreated inside, set her mug down with shaking hands. Through the kitchen window, she watched him kneel, examine the boards, pull a pencil from behind his ear to mark measurements. Watched the way his shoulders moved under the faded t-shirt. Watched him work like he had nowhere else to be. Like fixing her porch was worth a Sunday morning. The shower ran hot. She let it scald her back, wash away the confusion. Harrison was being kind. David had been his best friend for 30 years. College roommates turned business partners turned brothers. Of course he'd check on the widow. Probably felt guilty he hadn't done it sooner. She dressed for church in the purple suit that still fit if she didn't breathe too deep. Applied lipstick in abundant wine, the color David used to say made her look like she was about to deliver good news or bad news, nothing in between. Wrapped her hair, checked her reflection. 50 looked back at her. Not old, not young. Just after. After the marriage. After the laughter. After the plans they'd made for retirement that would never happen. The hammering outside stopped. Harrison was washing his hands with the garden hose when she stepped onto the new porch. Solid boards, no creaking, smelling of fresh cedar. "It's perfect." She meant it. "How much do I?" "Nothing." "Harrison, I can't let you. David made me promise." He dried his hands on his jeans, met her eyes. "Before he died. Made me swear I'd look after you. So that's what I'm doing." The words should have felt like pity. Should have made her spine straighten with pride. Made her say she didn't need looking after. Instead, they settled warm in her chest. "He knew you'd try to handle everything alone," Harrison continued. "Said you were stubborn as hell and twice as proud. Said someone needed to make sure you didn't disappear." Simone's throat closed. "I'm not disappearing." "Aren't you?" He said it gently. Stepped closer. Close enough she could smell sawdust and something expensive. Cologne that probably cost more than her mortgage payment. "When's the last time you went somewhere that wasn't work or church or the grocery store?" She opened her mouth. Closed it. "That's what I thought." He pulled keys from his pocket. "I'm coming to your church this morning." "You don't have to." "I want to." Morning Glory Baptist Church had been her sanctuary for 23 years. She knew every hymn, every stained glass window, every face in every pew. She knew where to sit, third row on the left, aisle seat, same spot she and David had claimed when they were newlyweds. She did not know how to walk in with Harrison Carter beside her. Heads turned. Mother Diane's eyebrows climbed. Keisha, her best friend since forever, grabbed her phone so fast Simone heard the camera click from 6 rows back. You all right? Harrison's hand settled on the small of her back as they walked down the aisle. Light touch. Steadying. Everyone's staring. Let them. They sat. His shoulder pressed against hers in the narrow pew. He found the hymnal, flipped to the right page without being told the number, sang Amazing Grace in a surprisingly decent baritone, bowed his head during prayer, pulled out his wallet during offering and slipped $500 bills into the basket without fanfare. Pastor Williams preached about new beginnings, about God opening doors when we're brave enough to walk through them, about not being afraid to accept love when it shows up unexpected. Simone felt Harrison's eyes on her, kept her own locked forward. After service, the church ladies swarmed. Simone, honey, who's your friend? Is this David's business partner? The one from the funeral. Lord, he is tall. And those eyes. How long has this been going on? Harrison fielded questions with the easy charm of someone used to boardrooms and negotiations. Yes, he was David's best friend. No, he wasn't from Atlanta originally. Boston, but he'd been spending more time here lately. Yes, he'd love Sister Diane's peach cobbler recipe. Simone stood beside him, smiled until her face hurt, and tried to ignore the way Mother Diane whispered to Sister Ruth. About time someone paid attention to that girl. She's been walking around like a ghost. In the parking lot, Harrison walked her to her car, a 10-year-old Honda with a dent in the passenger door. Thank you, Simone said. For the porch. For coming to church. You didn't have to do any of this. I know. He leaned against her car, arms crossed, looking at her like she was a puzzle he was trying to solve. Have dinner with me. Her heart lurched. Harrison. Just dinner. There's a soul food place in the old Fourth Ward David used to talk about. Said you introduced him to real mac and cheese there. Busy Bee Cafe. That's the one. His smile was slow, warm. Did something dangerous to her pulse. Tomorrow night. 6 o'clock. I don't think. Just say yes. She should say no. Should establish boundaries. Should remember this was David's best friend. Probably just being kind. Probably didn't mean anything except obligation to a promise made to a dying man. Yes, she heard herself say. His smile widened. Good. He opened her car door, waited until she was settled, seat belt clicked, closed it gently, stood in the parking lot and watched her drive away, hands in his pockets, looking for all the world like a man who'd just won something. Simone's phone rang before she made it to the first stoplight. Girl. Keisha's voice exploded through the speaker. Who was that man and why did he look at you like you were Sunday dinner? It's not like that. The hell it's not. I saw him. Every woman in that church saw him. That man was not looking at you like David's widow. That man was looking at you like a woman he wants. He's just being nice. Nice is sending flowers. Nice is checking in once a month. Nice is not rebuilding your porch at 7 a.m. on a Sunday or sitting through a 2-hour Baptist service or putting a hand on your back like he's staking a claim. Simone's hands tightened on the wheel. You're reading too much into it. Am I? Because Mother Diane already told Sister Ruth, who told Sister Patricia, who texted me that Harrison Carter spent the entire sermon watching you instead of Pastor Williams. Keisha. When's the last time a man looked at you, Simone? Really looked at you. Not past you, not through you. At you. The question sat in her chest, heavy and uncomfortable. I have to go. Don't hang up on. Simone ended the call. Drove home in silence that felt too loud. Quick pause. If you're feeling this story, hype it so others can find it. Comment where you're watching from. Now back to the story. Monday arrived with the weight of a decision Simone couldn't take back. She stood in her closet at 5:30, surrounded by clothes that used to fit a different version of herself. The black dress was too funeral. The red one too desperate. The jeans felt too casual for a man who probably had reservations at restaurants with dress codes and wine lists she couldn't pronounce. Her phone buzzed. Harrison. Wear whatever makes you comfortable. It's just busy bee. Just busy bee. Like it was simple. Like dinner with a billionaire was something women did at 50 without their stomachs trying to climb out through their throats. She chose the burgundy wrap dress. The one that didn't cling but didn't hide. Gold hoops David had given her for their 20th anniversary. Flats, because heels at her age meant paying for it the next morning. The doorbell rang at exactly 6. Harrison stood on her new porch holding flowers. Sunflowers, bright and unapologetic, nothing like the sympathy lilies people had drowned her in 3 years ago. You look beautiful, he said, and the way he said it, steady, certain, like he'd thought about it all day, made her throat tight. You didn't have to bring flowers. I wanted to. He waited while she found a vase, filled it with water that splashed because her hands wouldn't stay still. Watched her arrange the stems with more focus than they needed. Simone. She looked up. Breathe. She did. Let the air fill her lungs. Push against her ribs. I'm nervous. Good. So am I. That stopped her. You. Terrified. His smile was crooked, boyish. Made him look younger than 52. I've been planning this dinner for 3 years. Now I'm worried I'll say the wrong thing and you'll never let me take you anywhere again. 3 years. Since David died. Since the funeral where Harrison had delivered a eulogy that made grown men cry, then disappeared like smoke. Why now? The question came out before she could stop it. Why show up now? Harrison's jaw worked. He looked down at his hands. Broad, capable hands that had built a tech empire from nothing, that had held David's hand in the hospital when the morphine made him confused, that had rebuilt her porch like it mattered. Because 3 years felt like enough time to grieve. For both of us. He met her eyes. And because I promised David I wouldn't let you forget you're extraordinary. I'm just keeping my word. Busy Bee Cafe smelled like her childhood. Fried chicken and collard greens and cornbread with real butter. The kind of place with checkered tablecloths and sweet tea that came in mason jars and every table full because the food was worth the wait. They sat in a corner booth. Harrison ordered like he'd been here before. Fried chicken, mac and cheese, collards, candied yams. Listened to Miss Loretta, their server, talk about her grandson's basketball scholarship like he had all the time in the world. David brought me here, Harrison said after Miss Loretta left. First week we were roommates at Morehouse. I was this white kid from Boston trying to figure out why I'd chosen an HBCU, and he said I needed to understand the culture. Started with the food. Sounds like him. Simone sipped her sweet tea. Let the sugar coat her tongue, the memory settle warm. He had strong opinions about food. About everything. Harrison's smile was soft with remembering. Used to argue with professors just to argue. Drive me crazy. But he was brilliant. The best man I ever knew. He loved you like a brother. I know. Harrison's eyes held hers. Which is why this is complicated. The air between them shifted. Became something charged, careful. What is? Though she knew. Had known since yesterday morning when he'd shown up to fix her porch. Maybe longer. This. He gestured between them. Me wanting to have dinner with you. Wanting to fix your porch and sit in your church and make you smile. Because you don't smile enough and it's a crime against nature. Her heart hammered. Harrison. I'm not asking for anything, he said quickly. I'm just telling you the truth. David was my best friend. You were his wife. That's sacred. But he's gone, Simone. And you're here. And I'm here. And I don't want to pretend I don't notice you. The food arrived. Miss Loretta set down plates piled high, refilled their tea, hummed along to the Jill Scott playing low on the speakers. Simone stared at her chicken. I don't know how to do this. Do what? Be someone people notice. I'm 50 years old, Harrison. I have stretch marks and gray hair I cover with dye every 6 weeks. I fall asleep during movies. I eat ice cream straight from the carton at midnight. I'm not, she stopped. Swallowed. I'm not who men like you pay attention to. Men like me. Harrison's voice went flat. What does that mean? Successful. Powerful. You could have anyone. I don't want anyone. He leaned forward. The booth suddenly felt smaller. I want the woman who makes her own Christmas cards every year with terrible puns David used to complain about. I want the woman who cried at his funeral until she couldn't stand, then stood up anyway and thanked everyone for coming. I want the woman who named her catering business Simone's Table. Because David said you set a table like you were inviting people into your heart. She couldn't breathe. How do you know about the Christmas cards? David showed me every single one. Kept them in his desk drawer at the office. After he died, I took them home. I have 17 years of terrible puns in a box in my study. Something cracked open in her chest. Eat your chicken, Harrison said gently, before it gets cold. Then tell me about your catering business. David said you make the best peach cobbler in Georgia, and I've never had it. So she ate. And she talked. About starting the business from her kitchen, about the church ladies who hired her first, about the corporate clients who found her through word of mouth, about the cake she'd made for a wedding last month that the bride cried over. Harrison listened like her words mattered, asked questions that proved he was paying attention, told her about his company, about the tech innovations she didn't understand but loved hearing him explain, about his ex-wife who'd left 10 years ago when the billions started rolling in, decided money was better than loyalty. I don't trust easy, he admitted. But David trusted you. That's good enough for me. They shared peach cobbler for dessert. 2 forks, 1 plate. His knee brushed hers under the table and stayed there. Outside, the Atlanta evening had cooled. Streetlights painted the sidewalk gold. Harrison walked her to her car with his hand on the small of her back again. That same steady pressure that said, I've got you. Can I see you again? He asked. Harrison, I don't think. Friday. My company's hosting a charity gala. Fancy dresses, overpriced wine, people pretending they care about the cause. I hate going alone. Come with me. A gala. I don't have anything to wear to. I'll handle it. You can't just. Simone. He caught her hand. Held it between both of his. His palms were warm, calloused despite the expensive suits. I'm going to keep asking. Keep showing up. Keep giving you reasons to say yes. Because David made me promise, and I don't break promises. But also because I want to. So you can keep fighting me, or you can let me take you to a gala where you'll be the most beautiful woman in the room and I'll get to tell people you're with me. Why? The word came out broken. Why me? His thumb traced her knuckles. Why not you? She didn't have an answer for that. Say yes, he whispered. Yes. Over the next 3 weeks, Harrison became a constant. He showed up at her house Wednesday mornings to fix things that weren't quite broken. Loose shutters, a dripping faucet, the garage door that stuck. Hired her catering company for his office events. Sent her articles about small business grants with notes. Thought of you. Took her to dinner at restaurants where servers knew his name but never made her feel small. The gala was everything she'd feared and nothing like she'd expected. The dress Harrison sent arrived in a box with a note. Trust me. Emerald green silk that skimmed her body like water, made her skin glow warm, turned her curves into assets instead of apologies. Shoes that fit perfectly because he'd somehow figured out her size. His driver picked her up in a town car that smelled like leather and money. Delivered her to the Ritz-Carlton where chandeliers dripped crystal and women in diamonds air-kissed like they were afraid of smudging their lipstick. Harrison waited at the entrance in a tuxedo that probably cost more than her car. You're stunning, he said, and offered his arm like she was someone worth displaying. The ballroom was full of Atlanta's elite. Tech moguls, old money, politicians with practiced smiles. Harrison introduced her as Simone Brooks, owner of the city's best catering company, not as his best friend's widow. Kept his hand on her waist. Brought her champagne and whispered commentary about the other guests that made her bite back laughter. See that woman in the red dress? He nodded toward a blonde in Valentino. Tech investor. 3 divorces. Currently dating her personal trainer who's 26. Stop. But Simone was smiling. And the man by the bar. Hedge fund manager. Collects art he doesn't understand and pretends to like jazz. How do you know all this? I pay attention. His eyes found hers. It's what I do. They danced. Swayed to a jazz quartet playing Sinatra while around them couples moved in practiced circles. Harrison's hand spread wide on her lower back, drawing her closer than strictly proper. "You're good at this," Simone murmured. "Dancing. Making me forget I don't belong here." His hand tightened. "You belong anywhere I am." That's when she saw them. Heard them, really. Two women by the champagne fountain, voices carrying. "Is that Harrison Carter's date?" "I heard she's a caterer." "Can you imagine?" "Well, she's not exactly his usual type. She's so ordinary. I mean, she's pretty for her age, but come on. What does he see in her?" The words landed like stones. Simone's smile froze. "Ignore them," Harrison said quietly. But she couldn't. Because they were right. She was ordinary. A 50-year-old widow in a borrowed dress, playing Cinderella at a ball where she'd never belong. "I need some air." She pulled away before he could stop her. Walked through the ballroom on legs that wanted to run. Pushed through the terrace doors into humid Atlanta night. The city sprawled below. 1,000 lights pretending to be stars. Harrison followed. Of course he did. "They're jealous," he said. "They're honest." Simone gripped the railing. "I don't fit here, Harrison. Look at me. Really look. I'm a catering business owner from West End who shops at Target and watches reality TV. You're a man who wants to be here with you. Why?" She spun to face him. "There are 100 women in that ballroom who actually belong in your world. Who know which fork to use and how to small talk about stock portfolios. Why are you wasting time on me?" "Because they bore me." Harrison stepped closer. "Because they want what I have, not who I am. Because when I'm with you, I don't have to pretend I care about hedge funds and art collections and all the other bullshit that comes with this life. You ask me once why now. Why I'm showing up after 3 years. You want the truth." She nodded, not trusting her voice. "I've been in love with you for 25 years. The world tilted. "What?" "Since the day David introduced us. You were 25 years old, wearing a yellow dress, laughing at something he said. I took one look at you and thought, that's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. Then David said, 'This is Simone, my fiancée,' and I buried it. Because he was my best friend, and you were his, and some things are sacred." Simone's hand shook. "You never said anything. What was I supposed to say? Congratulations on your engagement. By the way, I'm in love with your wife? I watched you get married. Watched you build a life. Watched David love you the way you deserved. And I was happy for him. For both of you. I found my own version. Married Rachel, thought maybe I could make it work. But I couldn't love her the way I loved you. She knew it. That's why she left. Harrison. When David got sick, he knew. I don't know how, but he knew. Made me promise to look after you. Said, she's going to try to disappear. Don't let her. She deserves more than loneliness. I think. His voice cracked. I think he was giving me permission. Giving us permission. Tears burned her eyes. I can't be what you need. You are exactly what I need. Smart, funny, kind. You don't care about my money. You argued with me about letting me fix your porch. You fell asleep during the movie we watched last week and drooled on my shoulder. Do you know how rare you are? I'm 50 years old. So am I. He caught her face in his hands, the gesture achingly familiar from the thumbnail image that had started this. Stop using your age like it's a disqualification. You're 50 and beautiful and worthy of being loved. Let me love you. That's all I'm asking. People will talk. Let them. Your ex-wife can go to hell. This isn't about her. This is about us. About me wanting to come home to you. About me wanting to watch you fall asleep during movies and argue about whether Die Hard is a Christmas film. About me wanting everything. Her breath came in gasps. I'm scared. Good. So am I. But I'm more scared of waking up at 60 and realizing I let you slip away because I was too much of a coward to fight for you. She kissed him, reached up on her toes and pressed her lips to his before fear could stop her. He tasted like champagne and promise. His arms came around her, pulled her close, held her like she was something precious instead of ordinary. When they broke apart, his eyes were bright. Does this mean you'll stop fighting me? It means I'll try. I'll take it. The photograph appeared on page 6 3 days later. Simone stood in her kitchen, coffee mug frozen halfway to her lips, staring at her phone. There she was, emerald dress, Harrison's hand on her waist, both of them caught mid-laugh on the terrace. The headline read, Tech Billionaire Harrison Carter's Mystery Woman. Who is she? Her phone rang. Keisha. Don't read the comments, her friend said immediately. Too late. Gold digger. His best friend's widow? That's messed up. She's pretty for 50, but come on, he can do better. Probably after his money. They don't know you, Keisha said firmly. They don't know him. Don't let strangers who hide behind keyboards make you doubt this. But doubt was a weed that grew fast in untended soil. Harrison called an hour later. Have you seen it? Hard to miss. I'm sorry. I should have warned you this might happen. My PR team is handling it. Your PR team? The words tasted bitter. Is that what I am now? Something that needs to be handled? Silence stretched. Then, quietly, no. You're the woman I'm falling for who's about to pull away because strangers with opinions think they know our story. He was right. That made it worse. I need time to think. Simone. Please. She hung up, stared at the photograph until her vision blurred. Time to think lasted 4 days. 4 days of Harrison texting good morning and good night like clockwork. 4 days of flowers arriving, sunflowers, always sunflowers, with notes that said still here and not going anywhere and take all the time you need. 4 days of her catering business phone ringing with new clients who'd seen the article and wanted that woman who caught Harrison Carter. She hated that her business was growing because of him. Hated that she couldn't tell if clients wanted her food or proximity to his world. Hated that she was letting strangers' words make her question something that felt real. On day 5, someone else called. Is this Simone Brooks? The voice was smooth, cultured, expensive sounding. Yes. Rachel Carter. Harrison's ex-wife. I think we should meet. The coffee shop Rachel chose was in Buckhead. The kind of place where lattes cost $9 and came with foam art. Rachel sat by the window. Blonde, polished, wearing Chanel-like armor. Thank you for meeting me. Rachel's smile didn't reach her eyes. I know this is unusual. Simone sat, kept her purse in her lap, hands wrapped around it like a shield. What do you want? To warn you. Rachel leaned forward. Harrison is a good man. Brilliant. Generous. Loyal. But he's also obsessive. When he decides he wants something, he doesn't stop until he gets it. I learned that the hard way. I don't understand. He told you he loves you, didn't he? Rachel's laugh was brittle. That he's been in love with you for years. It's a compelling story. Very romantic. Did he mention he told me the same thing? That he pursued me for 2 years before I said yes? That I built my entire life around being Mrs. Harrison Carter, only to realize I'd never actually be first? Simone's stomach dropped. What are you talking about? You. Rachel's eyes were hard. Even when we were married, it was always you. Every time David mentioned you, Harrison went quiet. Listened to stories about Simone's catering business, Simone's laugh, Simone's kindness, like they were gospel. I told myself I was being paranoid. Then David died, and Harrison didn't come home for 3 days. Stayed in Atlanta, helping with arrangements. When he finally came back, he looked at me like he'd forgotten I existed. That's not. I'm not here to make you feel guilty. Rachel's voice softened. I'm here because I don't want you to make my mistake. Harrison is chasing a fantasy. The idea of you he's built up for 25 years. Real you. The 50-year-old widow with a catering business and a mortgage? You'll never live up to what he's imagined. And when you don't, when real life gets boring and complicated, he'll move on. That's what he does. Simone couldn't breathe. Couldn't think past the blood rushing in her ears. I have to go. I'm not trying to hurt you. Rachel caught her wrist. I'm trying to save you from getting hurt worse. Harrison Carter collects broken things and tries to fix them. You're his latest project. Don't mistake that for love. Simone drove home on autopilot, pulled into her driveway, sat in her car with the engine off, hands shaking. Harrison's Mercedes was parked at the curb. He sat on her porch, the one he'd rebuilt, elbows on his knees, gray eyes tracking her like he'd been waiting hours. Rachel called you, didn't she? Not a question. Simone got out of the car, walked up the new steps, solid under her feet. How did you know? Because I know her. And because I saw your face just now. He stood. What did she tell you? That you're obsessed with an idea of me. That I'm a project. That you'll get bored once reality sets in. Harrison's jaw worked. And you believed her. Should I not have? Simone. Were you in love with her? The question tore out. When you married Rachel, did you love her? I tried to. Raw honesty. I wanted to. She was smart, beautiful, from the right family. I thought maybe if I built a life with her I could stop thinking about you. Stop wondering what if. It wasn't fair to her. She deserved someone who could love her completely. I couldn't. That's on me. So she's right. I'm a fantasy you've built up. No. He stepped closer. You're a woman I've known for 25 years. I've seen you at your best and your worst. Watched you fight with David over stupid things like whether Star Wars or Star Trek was better. Watched you hold his hand in the hospital when the cancer ate him alive. Watched you deliver a eulogy with mascara running down your face, voice breaking, but you finished it anyway because that's who you are. You don't quit. You don't give up. You show up even when it hurts. That doesn't mean you love me. That means you loved your best friend and I remind you of him. Is that what you think? Harrison's voice rose. That I'm confusing grief for love? That I'm so fucked up over losing David that I latched onto his widow? Are you? No. He caught her shoulders. I'm latched onto you because you're the only woman who's ever made me want to be better. Because you call me on my bullshit. Because you made me sit through a 2-hour Baptist service and I'd do it again just to watch you sing hymns. Because when you smile, really smile, not that polite thing you do for strangers, my whole goddamn day gets better. Tears burned. I'm not enough. For who? Rachel. Society. Those people at the gala. He bent until they were eye level. Or for you. Because if you're using everyone else's opinion as an excuse to sabotage this, then Rachel was right about one thing. You are scared. Of course I'm scared. The words ripped free. You're Harrison Carter. You have billions of dollars and houses in 3 countries and an ex-wife who looks like she stepped off a runway. I'm Simone Brooks. I drive a Honda with a dent in the door. I buy my clothes on sale. My idea of a fancy night is takeout and Netflix. We don't make sense. We make perfect sense. How? Because I don't want fancy nights or runway models or someone who fits my world. I want you. In your Honda with the dent. Wearing clothes from Target. Falling asleep during movies. I want Sunday morning coffee and church ladies gossiping about us. I want to fix your porch and break your garbage disposal just so you'll call me to fix it. I want boring and complicated and real. I want you. What if Rachel's right? Her voice broke. What if the fantasy version is better than the real thing? What if you wake up in 6 months and realize you made a mistake? Then I'll deal with it in 6 months. But I won't walk away now because of what ifs. His hands slid up to cup her face. Simone. Look at me. She did. Gray eyes steady, certain. I spent 25 years watching you love someone else. Watched you build a marriage I envied every single day. I know exactly who you are. The good, the bad, the stubborn, the fierce. I know you put hot sauce on everything. I know you cry during commercials with puppies. I know you sing off key in the car and pretend you don't. I know you. And I'm still here. Still asking. Still wanting. This is crazy. Probably. His thumb brushed her cheekbone. Say you'll try anyway. She wanted to. God, she wanted to let herself fall into this. Into him. into the possibility that maybe, somehow, she was allowed to have a second chance at love even at 50. Even as a widow. Even as someone ordinary. But Rachel's words circled like vultures. You're his latest project. I need space, Simone whispered. Harrison's hands dropped. How much space? I don't know. Days. Weeks. I don't know. He stepped back. Pain flickered across his face, quickly smoothed. Okay. Okay. I said I'd fight for you. I didn't say I'd make you miserable doing it. He walked to his car, turned. But Simone, I'm not giving up. I'm giving you room. There's a difference. He drove away. Simone stood on her porch, solid new, built by his hands, and let herself cry. Space lasted a week. A week of Harrison respecting her boundaries so thoroughly it hurt. No texts. No calls. No flowers. Nothing. Her house felt emptier. Her phone too quiet. She caught herself looking for his Mercedes, listening for his voice, reaching for her phone to share something funny before remembering she'd asked for distance. The catering business stayed busy. Corporate clients, wedding consultations, a mayor's fundraiser that would have thrilled her a month ago. Now it felt hollow. Keisha came over Saturday night with wine and purpose. You're an idiot, her friend announced, pouring 2 generous glasses. Hello to you too. That man rebuilt your porch, came to our church, sat through Mother Diane's 20-minute prayer, took you to a gala and told you he's been in love with you for 25 years. And you pushed him away because his ex-wife, who is clearly bitter, said some nonsense about you being a project. She had a point. She had jealousy. Keisha shoved a wine glass at her. Listen to me. I've known you since we were 16 years old. I watched you fall in love with David. Watched you marry him, build a life, lose him. You know what I've never seen until Harrison showed up? You smiling like you believed it. Simone's throat tightened. David was a good man, Keisha continued. He loved you fierce. But he's gone, honey. And you're here. You're 50 years old, not dead. You're allowed to want things. To be wanted. Harrison sees you. Actually sees you. Why are you so determined to convince yourself that's not real? Because what if it's not? The words spilled out. What if I let myself believe this is real and 6 months from now he wakes up and realizes I'm just a middle-aged widow who can't keep up with his life? What if I'm not enough? What if you are? Keisha gripped her hand. What if you stop listening to fear and start listening to your heart? What's it telling you? Simone closed her eyes. Let herself feel it, the loneliness that had been her constant companion for 3 years, slowly being replaced by something warm and terrifying and real. It's telling me I'm falling for him. Then fall, girl. He'll catch you. Sunday morning, Simone woke with purpose. She dressed for church, applied her abundant wine lipstick, drove to Morning Glory Baptist and sat in her usual pew, 3rd row, left side, aisle seat. Harrison wasn't there. The realization hit like cold water. He'd come every Sunday for a month. She'd gotten used to his shoulder pressed against hers, his terrible singing, his hand finding hers during prayer. Now the pew felt too big. Pastor Williams preached about faith. About stepping into the unknown because God doesn't call the equipped. He equips the called. About love being a choice we make every day, not a feeling that happens to us. After service, Simone found Mother Diane. Have you seen Harrison? The older woman's eyes went soft. Baby, that man came here for you. You sent him away, he stayed away. That's respect. But if you want him back, you're gonna have to tell him. I don't have his address. Mother Diane's smile was knowing. Yes, you do. David gave it to you years ago. Christmas cards, remember. Simone drove to Brookhaven in her Honda with the dent. Harrison's house was everything she'd expected. Modern, glass and steel, sprawling across 2 acres with a view of the city skyline. The kind of house featured in architectural magazines. His Mercedes sat in the circular drive. She parked. Walked to the door on legs that shook. Rang the bell. Harrison answered in sweatpants and a t-shirt. Hair mussed. Barefoot. He looked at her like she was a mirage. Simone. I'm an idiot. His lips twitched. You're really not. I am. I let fear and strangers' opinions and my ex-wife, your ex-wife, make me doubt something good. Something real. You've been nothing but honest and patient and kind, and I repaid that by pushing you away. You were scared. I get it. I'm still scared. She stepped closer. But I'm more scared of waking up at 60 and realizing I let you go because I was too afraid to believe I deserved you. So here's the truth. I'm falling in love with you, Harrison Carter. Maybe I have been since you showed up to fix my porch. Maybe longer. And it terrifies me because I already lost one man I loved, and I don't know if I can survive losing another. You won't lose me. He reached for her, pulled her inside, closed the door. I'm not going anywhere. Your ex-wife is bitter and lonely and wrong. You're not a project. You're the woman I want to wake up next to. The woman I want to argue with about whether Die Hard counts as a Christmas movie. It does. It absolutely does not. His smile was soft. See, this is what I want. This, us. Real and messy and complicated. I don't want perfect. I want you. She kissed him. Rose up on her toes and kissed him like she meant it, like she was choosing him, like she was done running. He kissed her back with 25 years of want behind it. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, Harrison rested his forehead against hers. Stay, he whispered. Have coffee with me. Let me make you breakfast. Let me show you I'm serious about this. About us. Okay. 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 The next 3 weeks felt like a dream Simone kept waiting to wake up from. Harrison made her breakfast, burned the eggs twice before getting it right, laughed at himself instead of calling a chef. They spent Sundays at her church, then at his place watching football games she didn't understand while he explained plays she didn't care about. She catered a tech conference for his company and he introduced her to investors as the most talented chef in Atlanta. Not my girlfriend, though his hand on her back said what his words didn't. They were careful. Slow. Taking time to learn each other outside of grief and memory and David's shadow. But shadows had a way of catching up. It started with a phone call. Simone was at Harrison's house, curled on his couch in one of his t-shirts, flipping through catering menus for an upcoming wedding. He was in his home office on a video call with Tokyo investors, voice drifting through the open door, confident, commanding, entirely in his element. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Hello. Mrs. Brooks? This is Jennifer Kim from Atlanta Magazine. I'm writing a feature on Harrison Carter's return to the dating scene, and I was hoping to ask you a few questions about your relationship. Simone's stomach dropped. I don't think. How did you and Mr. Carter meet? Was it before or after your husband's death? Our readers are curious about the timeline, given that David Brooks was Mr. Carter's business partner and best friend. Some might say the relationship raises ethical questions. Ethical questions. The words came out sharp. Well, there's speculation about whether the relationship began before Mr. Brooks passed, and questions about whether you're receiving financial support from Mr. Carter's estate planning that was meant for his business partner's family. Simone hung up, hands shaking. Harrison appeared in the doorway seconds later. Who was that? A reporter. Asking about us. About David. Implying. She couldn't finish. He crossed to her in 3 strides. What did she say? That people think we were together before David died. That I'm using you for money that should have gone to David's family. That our relationship is. Her voice cracked. She made it sound dirty. Like we betrayed him. We didn't. Harrison's voice was steel. David knew how I felt. He gave us his blessing. You don't know that. Yes, I do. He pulled out his phone, scrolled, handed it to her. Read it. It was a text message, dated 3 weeks before David died. David, I'm not going to make it out of this, brother. We both know it. I need you to promise me something. Harrison, anything. David, take care of my girls. Simone and Jasmine. Make sure they're okay. Make sure Simone doesn't forget how extraordinary she is. Harrison. Always. David and Harry. I know. I've always known. If something happens with you two after I'm gone, you have my blessing. She deserves to be happy. You both do. Don't waste time on guilt. Life's too short. Trust me, I know. Simone read it 3 times. Tears blurred the screen. He knew, she whispered. He knew. Harrison's hand found hers. He wanted this for us. Don't let strangers who don't know our story make you doubt that. But doubt was already spreading, dark and invasive. The article ran Thursday. Billionaire Harrison Carter's controversial romance. Widow of late business partner raises eyebrows. They'd used the photograph from the gala. Added others. Harrison leaving her house at midnight, both of them at church, his hand on her back at a restaurant. Made innocent moments look calculated. Sinister. The comments section was worse. How long were they sneaking around before David died? She's definitely after his money. Women like that always are. Poor David. His best friend and his wife. That's disgusting. Gold digger wrapped in a sympathy story. Simone's phone exploded. Clients canceling. Church ladies calling with concern. Her daughter Jasmine, away at college in Boston. Texting. Mom, what's going on? People are sending me articles saying horrible things about you and Uncle Harrison. Uncle Harrison. Because that's what he'd been for 20 years. Family. Safe. Now twisted into something ugly. Simone stood in her kitchen, staring at her phone, drowning. The doorbell rang. She opened it to find Rachel Carter on her porch, impeccably dressed, holding a designer purse like a weapon. I warned you, Rachel said. Not unkindly. Almost gently. I told you this would happen. Harrison Carter comes with a price tag. Is it worth it yet? What do you want? To make you an offer. Rachel stepped inside uninvited. I can make this go away. One phone call to my publicist, and the narrative changes. Ex-wife supports former husband's new relationship. Late business partner gave his blessing. Beautiful love story. All the ugliness disappears. Why would you help me? Because I'm not a monster. Rachel's smile was sad. I loved Harrison once. He couldn't love me back because of you. That hurt. But watching him destroy you with this media circus? That's not love. That's obsession. So I'm offering you an out. What do I have to do? Walk away. Publicly. Make a statement that you've decided to end things, that the attention is too much, that you want to honor David's memory by stepping back. I'll spin it as dignified, graceful. You'll get your privacy back. Your business will recover. Your daughter won't have to defend you to her classmates. Simone's heart hammered. And Harrison. We'll move on. Eventually. He always does. Rachel's voice softened. I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm trying to save you. This is your chance to get out before it gets worse. And it will get worse. Trust me. Harrison found her an hour later, sitting in the dark. Why didn't you call me? He flipped on lights. Saw her face. Simone. What happened? Rachel was here. His jaw clenched. What did she say? That she can make it go away. The articles, the comments, all of it. She has a publicist who can change the narrative. All I have to do is... Her voice broke. All I have to do is walk away from you. Publicly. Say it's too much. And you're considering it. Not a question. An accusation. My daughter is being harassed at college because of me. My business is tanking. Church ladies I've known for 20 years are looking at me like I'm some kind of... She couldn't say it. Homewrecker. Gold digger. Harrison's voice was flat. Say it, Simone. That's what they think. That's what Rachel wants you to believe you are. Maybe they're right. Don't. He crossed to her, knelt in front of her chair. Don't do this. Don't let them win. This isn't about winning. It's about my daughter. My life. I can't. Tears spilled over. I can't keep fighting the whole world to be with you. Then don't fight the world. Fight for us. His hands framed her face. I know this is hard. I know it hurts. But it'll pass. The news cycle moves on. People forget. In 6 months no one will care. What if they don't? What if this follows Jasmine for years? What if every time I walk into church, People whisper. What if I lose everything because I chose you? Then you'll have me. His voice cracked. I'll be enough. We'll be enough. Will we? She pulled away. Stood. Put space between them because his hands on her face made it impossible to think. You have billions of dollars, Harrison. You can insulate yourself from this. I can't. I have a mortgage and a business that's falling apart and a daughter who shouldn't have to defend her mother's choices. So what are you saying? I'm saying maybe Rachel's right. Maybe the cost is too high. The cost? Harrison stood, and something in him shifted. Went cold. So I'm a cost now? This is a transaction. That's not what I meant. Then what did you mean? Because it sounds like you're putting a price tag on us. Weighing me against your comfort. Against what strangers think. I'm weighing you against my daughter's well-being. Your daughter is 20 years old. She doesn't need you to sacrifice your happiness to protect her from gossip. His voice rose. You're using her as an excuse to run. Again. Just like you used Rachel's words. Just like you used the gala comments. You're looking for reasons to sabotage this because you're terrified of being happy. The words hit like a slap. How dare you? I dare because I love you. Harrison's voice filled the room. I love you and you're standing there trying to find ways to leave me before I can leave you. That's what this is. You're convinced you're not enough, so you're running before I can figure it out. But I already know Simone. I've known for 25 years. And I'm still here. Still wanting you. When are you going to believe that? When it stops feeling like a fantasy. The words tore out of her. When I stop waiting for you to wake up and realize you made a mistake. When I can look in the mirror and see what you claim to see instead of a 50-year-old widow who's in over her head. Silence crashed between them. Harrison's shoulders sagged. I can't make you believe you're worth loving. That has to come from you. But I'm not going to stand here and watch you destroy us because you're scared. He walked to the door. Stopped. If you want out, say it. Tell me you don't love me. Tell me this isn't real. I'll walk away and never look back. But don't blame it on Rachel or reporters or your daughter. Own it. Simone's throat closed. Do you love me? His hand on the doorknob, back to her. Yes. Barely a whisper. Then fight. Stop running and fight. For us. With me. Not against me. He opened the door. I'll give you space. Again. But Simone. This is the last time. I can't keep chasing someone who's determined to believe she's not worth catching. He left. The house felt impossibly empty. 3 days later, the headline changed. Harrison Carter's ex-wife Rachel speaks out. I support his happiness. The interview was everywhere. Rachel, perfectly composed, telling a carefully crafted story. How she and Harrison had grown apart years ago. How she'd seen him come alive around Simone. How David Brooks had been a good man who'd want his best friend and his widow to find happiness together. Love doesn't have a timeline, Rachel said in the video clip that went viral. Harrison and Simone deserve peace, not judgment. I'm publicly stating my support for their relationship and asking the media to respect their privacy. Simone watched it 3 times, phone in hand, trying to understand. Her phone rang. Rachel. Why? Simone asked instead of hello. Because Harrison called me at 2 in the morning, drunk, crying about losing you. Rachel's voice was tired. And I realized I'd become the villain in a story I didn't want to be part of. I was hurt. Bitter. I wanted him to suffer the way I did. But watching him break over you? That's not revenge. That's just sad. I don't understand. I loved Harrison once. He couldn't love me back. That wasn't his fault or yours. It just was. But he loves you. Really loves you. The kind of love that makes a 52-year-old billionaire cry on the phone to his ex-wife about being terrified he's losing the only woman who's ever made him believe in forever. Rachel's laugh was soft. I couldn't love him right. But I can let him go right. Consider this my gift. To both of you. Rachel. Be happy, Simone. You've both waited long enough. The line went dead. Simone sat in her kitchen, the same kitchen where David had proposed 25 years ago, where she'd cried herself empty after his funeral, where Harrison had stood 3 days ago looking at her like she was breaking his heart. Her phone buzzed. Jasmine. Mom. I saw the interview. Uncle Harrison called me yesterday. Told me everything, about Dad's blessing, about how long he's loved you, about how scared he is of losing you. Mom, he's good for you. I can hear it in your voice when you talk about him. Please don't give this up because of what strangers think. Dad wouldn't want that. I don't want that. I want you happy. Even if it's scary. Simone read it 4 times. Then she called Keisha. I need you to watch the shop tomorrow. Why? Where are you going? To fight. Simone woke up Monday morning with a plan and no idea if it would work. She'd spent the weekend in prayer. Sat in Morning Glory Baptist on Sunday. 3rd row left, aisle seat. The pew beside her empty. Mother Diane had squeezed her shoulder after service, said nothing. Just held on tight like she understood some battles had to be fought alone before you could fight them together. Now Simone stood in her closet, staring at clothes that suddenly felt like armor. She chose the burgundy wrap dress, the one she'd worn to Busy Bee, the one Harrison had said made her look beautiful. Gold hoops. Flats. Abundant wine lipstick applied with a steady hand. She looked in the mirror and saw what Harrison claimed to see, a woman worth fighting for. Her phone buzzed. Keisha, you got this. Go get your man. Carter Tech headquarters occupied 15 floors of glass and steel in Midtown. Simone had been here once before, for David's memorial service 3 years ago. The lobby still smelled like money and ambition. The receptionist looked up, polite smile in place. Good morning. Do you have an appointment? No. But I need to see Harrison Carter. Mr. Carter is in back-to-back meetings until 4. I can schedule you for later this week. It can't wait. Simone leaned on the desk. Please. Tell him Simone Brooks is here. Tell him I'm not leaving until he sees me. The receptionist's eyes widened with recognition. The woman from the articles. The widow. The controversy. One moment. She picked up the phone. Murmured into it. Hung up. Mr. Carter's assistant will be right down. 5 minutes felt like 5 hours. Then the elevator opened and a sharp-looking woman in her 30s stepped out. Ms. Brooks? I'm Jennifer, Mr. Carter's executive assistant. He's asked me to escort you up. The elevator ride was silent. Jennifer's expression gave nothing away. They exited on the 15th floor. Executive suite. Corner offices with skyline views, everything whisper quiet and efficient. Harrison's office door was closed. Jennifer knocked. Ms. Brooks is here, sir. Send her in. Jennifer opened the door, stepped aside. Harrison sat behind a massive desk, surrounded by monitors displaying stock tickers and video conferences. He looked tired. Shadows under his eyes, tie loosened. Hair like he'd been running his hands through it. He looked at her like he was afraid she was a hallucination. Simone. I'm sorry. The words came out in a rush. I'm sorry I ran. I'm sorry I let fear and strangers' opinions and my own insecurities make me push you away. I'm sorry I couldn't see what David saw, what you've been trying to show me for months, that I'm worth fighting for. That we're worth fighting for. He stood slowly. What changed? Rachel gave an interview. Jasmine called. But mostly. She stepped closer. I realized I'd rather fight the whole world with you than have peace without you. You were right. I was looking for excuses to run because I was terrified of being happy. Terrified that if I let myself love you, I'd lose you too. But I'm more terrified of losing you because I was too afraid to try. Simone. I love you. Her voice steadied. I love you, Harrison Carter. I love your terrible singing and the way you fix things without asking. I love that you kept David's Christmas cards in your study. I love that you made me remember I'm more than grief and loneliness. I love you and I'm done running. So if you'll have me, if you haven't changed your mind, if I haven't ruined this completely. He kissed her. Crossed the office in 3 strides and kissed her like he'd been holding his breath for 3 days and she was oxygen. His hands cupped her face. The gesture that had haunted her dreams, the one from the gala, the one that said you're precious, and kissed her until her knees went weak. When they broke apart, his forehead rested against hers. "I thought I lost you," he whispered. "I'm right here. Don't leave again." "I won't." A knock on the door. Jennifer's voice. "Mr. Carter? The board meeting starts in 10 minutes. Harrison's jaw clenched. "Cancel it." "Sir, it's the quarterly review. The entire board is already in the conference room." He looked at Simone. "I have to go." She smiled. "I'll wait. I'm not going anywhere. Promise. Promise." Simone waited in Harrison's office, curled in the leather chair by the window, watching Atlanta sprawl below. Watched the sun move across the sky. Answered texts from Keisha demanding updates. Scrolled through her phone and saw the comments under Rachel's interview shifting. More supportive now, fewer cruel. 2 hours later, Harrison returned. How was the meeting? Long, boring. They wanted to discuss third-quarter earnings, and all I could think about was the woman waiting in my office. He loosened his tie completely, tossed it on the desk. "Come home with me." "Home? My place. Your place. I don't care. Just be with me. I have work tomorrow. A consultation for Simone." He pulled her to her feet. "Be with me. We'll figure out the logistics. We're good at logistics. But right now, I just want to take you home and spend the rest of the evening proving I meant every word I said. That I'm not going anywhere. That this is real." She studied his face. Gray eyes steady, certain, no hesitation. "Okay." They went to his house. The Brookhaven estate she'd only visited once before. He ordered Thai food, and they ate straight from the containers on his couch, her in his t-shirt again, him in sweatpants, both pretending the last 3 days of hell hadn't happened. "I need to tell you something," Harrison said, setting his container aside. "About the board meeting." Her stomach dropped. "What?" "They wanted me to make a statement. About us. About the controversy. They think it's affecting the company's image, scaring investors." His hand found hers. "They asked me to publicly distance myself from you. At least until the media attention dies down." The words landed like stones. "What did you say?" "I told them no." His voice was firm. "I told them Simone Brooks is the woman I intend to spend my life with, and if that makes them uncomfortable, they can resign. I told them David Brooks was my best friend, and he gave us his blessing. I showed them the text. Made copies, actually. Passed them around the conference table. Let them read his exact words." Tears burned her eyes. "Harrison, I told them you're not a controversy. You're not a scandal. You're the woman who makes me want to be better. And if they can't support that, I'll find board members who can." He turned to face her fully. "I'm done being careful. Done worrying about optics. I love you. I want everyone to know it. The board, the media, the entire city of Atlanta. Hell, the entire world. You could lose everything. I already almost lost everything. When you walked away, I realized nothing else matters. Not the company, not the money, not the reputation. Just you. Us." His hands framed her face. "So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a public statement. A real one. Not PR spin or carefully worded corporate nonsense. I'm going to tell the truth." "What truth?" "That I've loved you for 25 years. That David knew and gave us his blessing. That you're not a gold digger or a homewrecker or any of the other bullshit people are saying. That you're an incredible woman who built a business from nothing, who raised a brilliant daughter, who loved my best friend with everything she had. That I'm the luckiest man alive because you chose to give me a chance." "Harrison, you don't have to." "Yes, I do." His voice was steel wrapped in velvet. "I let you face this alone. Let the media tear you apart while I hid behind board meetings and PR strategies. That ends now. Tomorrow, I'm holding a press conference. I want you there. I want the world to see us together. I want to show everyone that we're not hiding, we're not ashamed, we're not apologizing for loving each other." A press conference. Her heart hammered. That's big. We're big. This is big. Why should we be small about it?" He pressed a kiss to her forehead. But only if you're ready. Only if you want this. I won't force you into the spotlight. I can do it alone. No. The word came out sure strong. No, we do it together. I'm done hiding. Done running. You fight for me, I fight with you. That's how this works. His smile was brilliant. That's exactly how this works. The press conference was scheduled for Wednesday afternoon. Simone spent Tuesday in a panic. Called Keisha 17 times. Tried on 8 different outfits. Practiced what she'd say in the mirror until the words lost meaning. Jasmine called that night. Mom. Breathe. I can't do this. A press conference? What was I thinking? You were thinking you love him. That he loves you. That Dad would want you happy. Jasmine's voice softened. Mom, I've seen the texts. Uncle Harrison. God, it's weird calling him that now. He sent me everything. Dad's message, the timeline, all of it. This isn't some scandal. This is 2 people who've been through hell finding each other on the other side. That's beautiful. People are going to say terrible things. Let them. The people who matter, me, Aunt Keisha, the church ladies who actually know you, we're all on your side. Everyone else? Their opinion doesn't matter. When did you get so wise? I have good parents. Had. Have. Jasmine's voice wobbled. Dad would be happy for you, Mom. I know he would. Simone closed her eyes. I miss him. Me too. But Uncle Harrison, he's not trying to replace Dad. He's just trying to love you. That's different. That's okay. It's more than okay. Wednesday arrived too fast. Harrison picked her up at 11. She wore the emerald dress from the gala, the one that had started everything, that had made her feel beautiful, that reminded her she was allowed to want things. You're stunning, he said, and meant it. I'm terrified. I know. So am I. We'll be terrified together. The press conference was held at Carter Tech headquarters. The lobby had been transformed. Podium, microphones, chairs for reporters. At least 50 people crowded the space. Cameras everywhere. Phones recording. Harrison's hand found hers. Squeezed. Ready. No. But let's do it anyway. They walked to the podium together. Flashes erupted. Questions shouted before Harrison even reached the microphone. He raised a hand. Silence fell. Thank you for coming. I'm going to make a statement, then take questions. But first, some ground rules. You will address Ms. Brooks with respect. You will not shout over each other. And you will remember that we're human beings, not headlines. Understood. A few nods. Some eye rolls. But quiet. Harrison pulled out his phone, pulled up David's text, handed it to his assistant. Project this on the screen behind me. The massive display lit up. David's last message, right there for everyone to read. My name is Harrison Carter. This is Simone Brooks. And yes, we're in a relationship. But before you start asking questions about timelines or propriety, I want you to understand the truth. David Brooks was my best friend for 30 years. He knew I loved Simone long before I ever acted on it. And before he died, he gave us his blessing. That's his message on the screen. In his own words. His permission. His hope for both of us. Silence. Every eye on the screen. I loved David like a brother, Harrison continued. Losing him broke something in me. But honoring his memory doesn't mean letting the woman he loved spend the rest of her life alone. It doesn't mean hiding or being ashamed of finding happiness again. It means keeping the promise I made to him, to look after Simone, to remind her she's extraordinary, to give her the life she deserves. He turned, pulled Simone closer to the microphone. This woman built a successful catering business from her kitchen. Raised an incredible daughter. Loved my best friend with a devotion I've never seen matched. She's kind, brilliant, stubborn as hell, and the strongest person I know. She survived losing her husband and still opens her heart to love again. That takes courage most people can't imagine. His hand found hers. Laced their fingers together in front of all those cameras. I've loved Simone Brooks for 25 years. I'm not ashamed of that. I'm not hiding it. I'm 52 years old, and I'm finally with the woman I've always loved. If that makes you uncomfortable, that's your problem, not ours. He looked at her. Gray eyes steady. Simone, you want to say anything? Her throat was tight, but she stepped closer to the microphone anyway. My husband died 3 years ago. I thought love died with him. I thought 50 years old meant being invisible, being finished, accepting loneliness as my new normal. Harrison Carter showed up and proved me wrong. He didn't save me. I'm not some damsel in distress. He just reminded me that I'm allowed to be seen, to be wanted, to be loved. Even at 50. Even as a widow. Even when the world says I should stay quiet and grateful for what I've already had. Her voice strengthened. I'm not going to apologize for loving him. I'm not going to hide. My late husband gave us his blessing. My daughter supports us. That's what matters. Not strangers' opinions. Not headlines. Not people who don't know our story deciding what we are or aren't allowed to feel. She looked at Harrison. I love you. I'm sorry it took me so long to believe I deserved you. You deserve everything, he whispered. Then he kissed her. Right there. In front of 50 reporters and 100 cameras. Kissed her like they were the only 2 people in the room. The cameras went crazy. Flashes like lightning. Questions erupting. But Simone only felt Harrison's hands on her face, his lips on hers, his certainty wrapping around her like armor. When they broke apart, he kept one arm around her waist. Any questions that aren't disrespectful? A reporter in the front raised her hand. Mr. Carter, what do you say to critics who claim Ms. Brooks is after your money? I say they don't know Simone. She tried to pay me for fixing her porch. Argued with me about it for 20 minutes. When I hired her catering company, she charged me full price. Wouldn't even give me the friends and family discount. This woman doesn't want my money. She built her own success. I just want to be part of her life. Another hand. Ms. Brooks, how does your daughter feel about the relationship? Simone smiled. She called me last night and told me her father would be happy. That's all that matters to me. What about you, Mr. Carter? Any plans to remarry? Harrison looked at Simone. I hope so. But we're taking it one day at a time. Building something real. That takes patience. More questions. About the company, the timeline, the future. Harrison fielded them all with calm confidence. Protected Simone from the aggressive ones. Let her answer when she wanted to. After 30 minutes, he raised a hand. That's all the time we have. Thank you for coming. And to be clear, this is the last statement we'll make about our personal life. From now on, it's private. Between us. As it should be. They walked out together. His arm around her waist. Her head held high. Behind them, reporters shouted more questions. But Simone didn't hear them. Only heard Harrison whisper in her ear. I'm so damn proud of you. That night, the video went viral. Not the whole press conference. Just the moment Harrison kissed her. Someone edited it with music, added text. When you find your person, fight for them. It was shared 100,000 times in 6 hours. 1 million by morning. Comments poured in. This is the most romantic thing I've ever seen. Her husband gave them his blessing? I'm crying. 50 and finding love again? Goals. The way he looks at her. Everyone deserves someone who looks at them like that. I was judging them before. I was wrong. This is beautiful. Simone woke up Thursday morning to texts from clients who'd canceled, apologizing, asking to rebook. To messages from strangers offering support. To a voicemail from a TV producer asking if she'd be interested in a cooking show segment. But most importantly, to Harrison asleep beside her in his too big bed. Gray hair mussed, face peaceful, hands still holding hers even in sleep. She watched him breathe. Let herself believe this was real. He'd fought for her. Publicly. Fearlessly. Now it was her turn to fight for them. The weeks after the press conference felt like waking up from a long sleep. Simone's phone rang constantly, but now with opportunities instead of cancellations. A feature in Southern Living about her catering business. 3 corporate contracts from companies who'd seen her at the press conference and admired her courage. A bride who wanted the woman Harrison Carter loves, to cater her wedding because, if she's good enough for a billionaire, she's good enough for my reception. Simone took the contracts, turned down the ones that felt like they were hiring her proximity to Harrison instead of her talent. Built her business back stronger than before, on her own terms. Harrison gave her space to do it. Didn't try to rescue or fix or interfere. Just showed up at the end of long catering days with takeout and terrible jokes. Sat in her kitchen while she tested recipes. Became her official taste tester and loudest cheerleader. This peach cobbler, he said one evening, fork halfway to his mouth, should be illegal. It's too good. You say that about everything I make. Because everything you make is too good. He pulled her into his lap. Have I told you today that you're extraordinary? Twice. But I don't mind hearing it again. You're extraordinary. And I'm the luckiest man alive. She kissed him. Slow and sweet, tasting peaches and cinnamon and the future. Sunday morning 3 months after the press conference, Simone walked into Morning Glory Baptist with Harrison beside her. The whispers had changed. Less judgment, more curiosity. Mother Diane met them at the door with a knowing smile. About time you two made this official. Official. Simone's eyebrows rose. Honey, everybody knows. That man looks at you like you hung the moon. And you look at him like he made it shine just for you. Don't keep us waiting forever. Some of us want to plan a wedding. Harrison laughed. Squeezed Simone's hand. They sat in their usual spot, third row, left side, though now they needed only one seat between them. His arm draped across the back of the pew, her shoulder tucked against his side. Pastor Williams preached about transformation. About the caterpillar becoming a butterfly. About how sometimes God breaks us down so he can build us back stronger, more beautiful, more ourselves than we ever were before. Simone felt Harrison's hand find hers during prayer. Felt the weight of his head resting against hers. Felt, for the first time in 3 years, like she was exactly where she belonged. After service, the church ladies descended. Simone, honey, you bring that handsome man to Sunday dinner next week. Harrison, we need you for the church building fund committee. Y'all are just the sweetest thing. Makes my heart happy. Keisha pulled Simone aside in the parking lot. Girl, look at you. Glowing. Happy. In love. I am. Simone couldn't stop smiling. I really am. David would be proud. Keisha's eyes glistened. He'd see you thriving and probably give Harrison that look he used to give. The you better treat her right or I'll haunt you look. I miss him. I know. But honey, you're allowed to love them both. The one you lost and the one you found. That's not betrayal. That's survival. That's life. The real test came 2 weeks later. Harrison's company was hosting their annual holiday gala, the biggest event of the year, attended by tech giants and venture capitalists and politicians with ambition. The same crowd that had whispered at the last gala, questioned her presence, made her feel small. You don't have to go, Harrison said, watching her stare at the invitation. We can skip it. Go to dinner instead. Just us. No. Simone set the invitation down. I want to go. I want to walk in there with you and show them I'm not hiding. Not anymore. You're sure? I'm sure. The night of the gala, Simone chose carefully. A dress Harrison had sent. Deep blue silk that made her skin glow, that hugged her curves like it was made for her body. Because it was. He'd hired a designer, given them her measurements, asked for something that would make her feel powerful. She looked in the mirror and saw a woman transformed. Not by money or status, but by belief. By finally seeing herself the way Harrison had always seen her. Jasmine had flown home for Thanksgiving break. She walked into Simone's bedroom and stopped. Mom, you look beautiful. You think so? I know so. Jasmine hugged her. Dad would think so too. He always said you were the most beautiful woman in any room. Looks like Harrison agrees. I wish your dad was here to see this. He is. Jasmine's voice was soft. Maybe not the way we want, but he's here. I feel it. And Mom, he'd be so happy you're happy. That's all he ever wanted. Harrison picked her up in the town car, and the look on his face when she opened the door made every moment of doubt worth it. Simone. He just stared. You're too much. Perfect. You're absolutely perfect. The gala was at the same Ritz-Carlton. Same chandeliers, same champagne fountain, same crowd of Atlanta elite. But Simone walked in differently this time. Head high. Hand in Harrison's. No apologies. The room noticed. Conversations paused. Eyes tracked them. Harrison leaned close. You okay? I'm great. They made their way through the crowd. Harrison introduced her not as his girlfriend or his date, but as Simone Brooks, the woman I love. Said it to tech CEOs and politicians and investors like it was fact. Not up for debate. Some people were warm. Congratulated them. Said they'd seen the press conference and were moved by it. Others were cold. Polite but distant. Made excuses to move along. Simone didn't care. Not anymore. Then she saw her. Rachel Carter, across the ballroom. Blonde hair perfectly styled, designer gown, champagne flute in hand. Their eyes met. Rachel walked over. Simone's hand tightened on Harrison's arm. He noticed, started to step between them. Rachel raised a hand. I'm not here to cause trouble. Then why are you here? Harrison's voice was cool. Because my company donated $1 million to the charity. And because... Rachel looked at Simone. I owe you an apology. A real one. Not a publicist's statement. I tried to sabotage what you two have because I was hurt. That was wrong. You didn't steal him from me. He was never really mine to lose. Rachel, Harrison started. Let me finish. Rachel's eyes stayed on Simone. I've watched the way he looks at you. The way you look at him. That's real. That's the kind of love people write songs about. I'm sorry I tried to destroy it. I'm sorry I made you doubt yourself. You deserve happiness. Both of you do. Simone studied the woman who'd nearly broken them. Saw the sincerity in her eyes. Thank you, Simone said. That means more than you know. Rachel nodded. Looked at Harrison. Take care of her. She's good for you. Better than I ever was. Rachel. It's true. We both know it. She smiled, sad but genuine. Be happy, Harrison. God knows you've waited long enough. She walked away. Disappeared into the crowd. Harrison let out a breath. That was unexpected. People surprise you sometimes. You surprise me every day. They danced. Swayed to jazz quartets and stolen moments. His hand spread on her lower back, drawing her close, making her feel cherished. I have something for you, Harrison murmured against her ear. Another dress? Harrison, you have to stop spending money. Not a dress. Something better. He pulled back, reached into his jacket pocket. Simone's breath caught. He pulled out a small velvet box. Harrison. Wait. He opened it. Not a ring. A key. This is the key to my house. I want you to have it. I want you to come and go as you please. Make it yours. Make it ours. Her eyes burned. You're giving me a key. I'm asking you to move in with me. I know it's fast. I know we're still figuring this out. But Simone, I don't want to spend another night without you. I want to wake up next to you. Fall asleep holding you. Build a life with you. So this is me asking, will you move in? Make a home with me? Let me love you every single day. Around them couples danced. The world kept spinning. But Simone only saw Harrison. Gray eyes steady, vulnerable, hopeful. Yes. The word came out choked with tears. Yes, I'll move in. Yes to all of it. His smile was brilliant. He slipped the key into her hand, closed her fingers around it. This is just the beginning, he whispered. There's a ring coming. Eventually. When you're ready. But for now, I just want you home. I am home. She touched his face. Wherever you are, that's home. He kissed her. Right there on the dance floor, in front of everyone who doubted them, everyone who judged, everyone who'd said they wouldn't last. Kissed her like she was the only woman in the world. When they broke apart, the ballroom erupted in applause. Not from everyone. But from enough. From the people who mattered. The ones who believed in second chances and hard-won happiness and love that refuses to be quiet. 6 months later, Simone stood in Harrison's kitchen. Their kitchen. Testing a new recipe for a wedding she was catering next week. The house had changed. Her touches everywhere. Throw pillows from Target. Family photos on the mantel. Her spice collection taking over an entire cabinet. The sterile bachelor pad transformed into a home. Jasmine was visiting for summer break, sprawled on the couch FaceTiming her boyfriend. Harrison was in his study on a conference call with London investors. Simone's phone buzzed. An email from Southern Living. They wanted to feature her in a full spread. The caterer who captured a billionaire's heart. She'd made them change the title to The Caterer Who Built an Empire. Another buzz. A text from Keisha. Sunday dinner at my place. Bring that man of yours. And your peach cobbler. We're celebrating. Another. Mother Diane. Committee meeting Tuesday. We need Harrison's input on the building fund. Her business phone rang. Another client, another opportunity. The life she'd rebuilt from grief and loneliness and doubt was thriving. Not because of Harrison's money or status, but because she'd finally believed she was worthy of building something beautiful. Harrison appeared in the doorway, conference call finished. Tie loosened, hair mussed. Smells good. What are you making? Strawberry shortcake. Testing variations. Need a taste tester? Always. He crossed to her, wrapped his arms around her waist from behind, rested his chin on her shoulder. They stood like that, comfortable, easy, right, while strawberries simmered on the stove. I love you, he murmured. I love you too. Even when I burn your eggs. Even then. Even when I sing off-key at church. Especially then. He turned her in his arms. Gray eyes soft, smile gentle. Marry me. Simone's breath caught. What? Marry me. I know I said I'd wait, that we'd take our time, but I don't want to wait anymore. I've waited 25 years. I want to make this official. I want you to be my wife. I want everyone to know you chose me. That we chose each other. Harrison. He pulled a ring from his pocket. Not the key this time. An actual ring. Emerald, the color of the dress from their first gala, surrounded by diamonds that caught the kitchen light. I had this made 3 months ago. Been carrying it around ever since, waiting for the right moment. But there is no perfect moment. Every moment with you is perfect. So I'm asking now, in our kitchen, while you make strawberry shortcake and your daughter's on the couch and life is exactly this simple and complicated and beautiful. Tears spilled over. You're sure? I've never been more sure of anything. He dropped to one knee. Simone Brooks. Will you marry me? Will you let me spend the rest of my life proving you made the right choice? Will you be my wife, my partner, my best friend, my everything? Jasmine appeared in the doorway, phone in hand, recording. Mom. Say yes. Oh my God, say yes. Simone looked at her daughter. Looked at Harrison on one knee, hope and love and certainty in his eyes. Looked at the life they'd built from ashes and doubt and hard-won faith. Yes. She laughed through tears. Yes, I'll marry you. Yes to all of it. Harrison slipped the ring on her finger. Stood. Kissed her while their daughter cheered and the strawberries bubbled over on the stove and the kitchen smelled like sugar and happiness. I'm going to love you so well, he promised against her lips. You already do. 1 year later. The wedding was small. Just family and close friends at Morning Glory Baptist Church. 3rd row left side where it all began. Simone wore ivory lace. Simple, elegant, age-appropriate, beautiful. Jasmine stood as maid of honor. Harrison's best man was his business partner Marcus. Because David couldn't be there but his blessing hung over everything like grace. Mother Diane cried. Keisha cried. Half the church cried. Harrison's vows were simple. I promise to love you fiercely. To fix your porch and anything else that breaks. To sit through church services and taste test every recipe. To make you laugh when you're sad and hold you when you're scared. To spend every day reminding you how extraordinary you are. To honor the man who loved you first by loving you best. Simone's vows were simpler. I promise to let you. To stop running. To believe I'm worthy of this love. To build a life with you that's complicated and beautiful and real. To love you with everything I have for as long as I live. You reminded me I'm allowed to be happy. I promise to never forget that again. They kissed. Married. Finally. The reception was in her backyard. The one Harrison had spent months transforming into a garden fit for a wedding. Fairy lights strung between trees, tables draped in white. Food she'd made herself because no one else was catering her wedding. They danced to Jill Scott. Cut a cake that Simone had stress-baked at 2 in the morning. Laughed with friends who'd supported them, family who'd believed, strangers who'd become champions. Rachel sent flowers with a note. Congratulations. He chose well. The mayor attended. 3 senators. Tech executives and church ladies and everyone in between. But Simone only saw Harrison. Saw the way he looked at her like she was the answer to a question he'd been asking for 25 years. As the sun set over Atlanta, painting the sky gold and pink, Harrison pulled her close. Happy. So happy I'm scared to believe it's real. It's real. I'm real. This is real. He kissed her forehead. And I'm going to spend the rest of my life making sure you never doubt that again. I love you, Harrison Carter. I love you, Simone Carter. The name settled over her like a blessing, not erasing who she'd been, but adding to it. Widow and wife. Griever and beloved. 52 years old and just beginning. Across the yard, Jasmine raised her glass. To second chances. To love that waits. To my mom and my stepdad? That's so weird. To happiness. Everyone drank. Cheered. Celebrated love that refused to be quiet, that survived judgment and doubt and fear, that proved it's never too late to begin again. Mother Diane found Simone later, pulled her aside. Child. Look at you. Glowing. Thriving. Living. I almost didn't let myself have this. But you did. That's what matters. You chose brave over safe. Chose love over fear. Chose to believe you were worth fighting for. Mother Diane squeezed her hand. David would be so proud. Not just of you finding love again, but of you finally seeing what everyone else has always seen, that you're extraordinary. Harrison says that. Harrison's right. Mother Diane smiled. Now go dance with your husband. And eat some cake. You didn't eat at your own wedding. Simone found Harrison by the dessert table, talking with Marcus about quarterly projections even at his own reception. Dance with me, she said, tugging his hand. Always. They swayed under fairy lights while around them friends and family celebrated. While Jasmine danced with her boyfriend. While Keisha caught the bouquet and pretended to be annoyed. While Atlanta sparkled in the distance. Full of possibilities. What are you thinking? Harrison asked. That I'm 52 years old and just got married for the second time. And I'm happier than I've ever been. Scared but happy. Is that okay? That's perfect. He pulled her closer. Scared means it matters. Happy means we're doing it right. We are doing it right, aren't we? We're doing it perfectly. He kissed her. Soft and sweet and full of promise. And we're just getting started. Simone looked around at the life she'd rebuilt. The business thriving. The daughter flourishing. The friends celebrating. The man who'd waited 25 years holding her like she was precious. She'd been invisible at 50. Convinced her story was over. Now she was 52 and married to a man who made her feel seen every single day. Building a life that was messy and beautiful and real. Creating a second chapter that honored the first without being haunted by it. She'd been wrong about so many things. Wrong that love had an expiration date. Wrong that 50 meant finished. Wrong that widows weren't allowed second chances. Wrong that she wasn't worth fighting for. Harrison Carter had shown up to fix her porch and ended up fixing everything she believed about herself. And somewhere, she liked to think, David was smiling. Watching his best friend keep his promise. Watching his wife choose happiness. Watching 2 people he loved find their way to each other. The song changed. Something slow and jazzy. Harrison's hand spread wide on her back. What are you thinking now? He asked. Simone smiled. Looked up at her husband, Because he was her husband now, officially, legally, completely. I'm thinking I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. Me too, Mrs. Carter. Me too. And they danced. Under fairy lights and southern stars. Surrounded by love hard